Hi there, my name's Vince from mymakevince.com, and in this video today it is another trying to fix video, and we're going to be trying to fix a PlayStation Portable. This one is a Series 2000, I think. Hold on. Yeah, there you go, PSP 2004. So I believe the last digit just changes depending on where the model is from. So with this one, this is sent over from Marcel from the Netherlands. And the problem with this one is it's got a bulging battery. So look at that, that really has swelled up. Yeah, so I'm not even going to attempt doing anything with that because obviously, do you know what? I don't know why it swells up. It must be something to do with the gases. It'd be kind of interesting to pry it open to see what's on the inside because I'm thinking the cells are still going to be protected on the inside. But it does say do not open, so I better heed that advice. So unfortunately, I can't do anything with that. And basically, because it's swollen up so much, it doesn't actually fit in here anymore. So you can see it doesn't go down, and you have to really struggle to get the lid on. But either way, I don't want to risk putting any charge into that. So I do have a PSP. This one here is a PSP 3000 from memory. Hold on. Yep, 3000. And with this one here, the battery is compatible with this. So if I put that in there and put it in here, it is all working. So it just needs a new battery. But, well, it's not all working, hence the reason for the video. Otherwise, I wouldn't make a video just replacing the battery. So, oh, look at that, I've just noticed. Memory sticks. 2 gigabytes, 1 gigabyte. I didn't even notice that they were there. And also I've got this nice little case as well with some games, and this already has a memory stick in it. So this one has, I think, a 4 gigabyte one. Interesting. I might plug the others in just to see if there's any games or anything on them. So what happens with this one is it makes a horrible scratching, sort of scraping sound. Ooh, naughty, naughty. Let's change it over to English. Oh, it's over to English now anyway. Right, okay. So if I go pop a game in here, let's just do FIFA 08. And basically, it's not the game. I've tried different games, and I've tried FIFA 08 in my one, and it works fine. Listen to that. Yeah. So it does load the game up, but it's just incredibly noisy. And what happens is it stops you from wanting to play it because of the noise on it. Listen to that. So if you can imagine, you're trying to play the game and that's what you're hearing. So unless you've got the volume up very full, even when it's on full, it's still irritating. So I'm thinking it is. I can hear it spinning now, and it's not making a noise. I think it's the sled moving up and down. Maybe it needs lubricating. Listen to that. Maybe the motor's completely gone. Well, look, you get the idea anyway. So now let me show you what this game is like in another PSP. Right, so you can hear what it should sound like now. There, so basically all you can hear is every now and then, I mean it's spinning all the time, but all you can hear is like zzz, zzz. It's quiet, it's nothing like the other one. But you can hear it now that it's not taken over the game. So let's take this apart and let's see if we can work out why it is making that noise. Part of me thinks that I could just reach in here and lubricate that worm wheel and it might start working, but it doesn't look particularly bad, and this is actually moving up and it is moving up and down. So I'm thinking it might be more to do with the motor. Now, unfortunately, I am going to have to remove this warranty thing here in order to get to the screw to undo it. So then if I was to try to sell this now to someone like CEX, I'm going to have a problem. But at the same time, unless I do this, I'm not going to be able to fix it properly because I actually want to get to the motor, because I'm wondering if it's the motor that's squealing. So when I do that, this front bit now opens. like so. It's quite useful as well because it gives me a chance to clean the screen, because there was a tiny little dot that looked irritating right in the middle there. Right, okay, so we've got to this one here. It will also allow me to clean in and around here as well. You can see there's a lot of dirt around there. I'm just taking off the triggers. I'm going to take out the SD card as well. Just unhooked that bottom bit there. Pop out that ribbon cable. From memory, there was a way to get to the board at the back without doing a huge amount of work, but I can't remember what that is now. Right, so that brings the screen down. Right, this is it now. Yes, you have to do that, but now I think I can just undo that here and do the rest without undoing it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to put that screw back in for that power adapter, because I'm pretty sure that I don't need to take anything more apart. And I'm going to pop this ribbon cable back in. There we go. Right, just so I don't damage the screen, I am going to undo these two ribbon cables. So one's going to be for the backlight and one's going to be for the screen itself. There we go. You can see that there's no water damage as well. So I'm going to put that away nice and safely over there. So now, do you know what? I'm going to undo this one as well, just to, again, to keep it out of the way. Right, so we've got this little mechanism here, and I remember looking at this before, and it's lovely how it works. So this is the thing that springs the back into place, and you can see how it works there. So we have to undo this. Okay, so that's out. Now, from memory, we can just how do we do this now? I think we have to bend it out or something. That's it, yeah, so just give it a bit of a bend there to get that side out. Let's do the same on this side. Like that. And now with these ones here, they just, there's a little hole at the end here, so you just need to travel it along till you get to the hole, and then it will slide out. You see there? That bit there is slightly wider than the rest. Right, so you can see now that that will give us access to this thing here, but is it going to give us access to the motor? Do we have to do it all from the other side? Actually, it does, doesn't it? Because all we have to do is undo these screws, I think. And I think there's a couple of ribbon cables on the other side that we need to undo, and this should pull out then. Because the first time I took one of these apart, I had to take everything apart to get to this. So now, if we undo this ribbon cable here, that should give us access. I think it's just a one ribbon cable. Yeah. So we're just going to slide these bits out that way, and then this should come out here. And you can see that this is for the laser, because look, it's one of those little solder blobs that you're supposed to solder if you're working on it. Now, I don't want to be touching the laser, so I'm hoping that I'm not going to damage it. Right, let's see if this whole thing pulls out now. Oh, okay, there's another ribbon cable here, so there is 2 ribbon cables, one here as well. There. Now I wonder, should I put a bit of solder on that just in case I damage it? Would that be a good idea? Yeah, let's put a bit of solder, because the last thing I want to do is end up having to replace the laser if I don't need to, because it is reading the games. So if you have a look closely here, can you see there's just a little dot here? And then once I've got it back together, I can then just remove it with a bit of solder wick. So this is the motor here that deals with the sled. So I have to find out why it's really noisy. Right, there we go, there's a bit of solder on there now. Yeah, so it's bridged the 2 pins together. Yeah, so it's bridged those 2 tracks together. Right, so I think I can handle that now without worrying about damaging it. Right, let's take off this gear here. Is that going to come off? No, that's a worm. That's a worm gear, let's not take that one off. Right, right, I can see a tiny crack on it. Let me zoom in, but it's in the middle. I don't think it's going to cause any problems. If you have a look just here, you see here there's a crack. Oh no, that's fine. That's just a little circlip that goes on top. Oh, okay. Well, let's remove this. That's why it wasn't coming off. So I'm just going to get my tweezers underneath there, put my finger on top, and hopefully it won't ping off. Do you know what? That's asking for trouble. I'm going to use some blue tack. Right, so I'm just going to stick some blue tack here, and now it won't be able to go anywhere, you see. There we go, yeah. Right, that should come off now, perfect. Right, so let's see what's making this noise. So if I was to plug it back in and just plug this cable in, that should just work on these 2, shouldn't it? The laser won't be plugged in, but we don't care about that. It all seems to be moving freely. I wonder whether it's the motor itself rather than this. Let's see if this is moving okay. Ah, look what we got up here. Wonder, could this be it? Look at a little track here. There's a stone. Yeah, that's a bit of grit there. Look. Rock hard. Yeah, that's I wonder, could it be just grit? It looks like sand. Not sure. I'm not sure if it's the motor or not. I think really we do need to just temporarily put it back together just to see if that is squealing. Annoyingly, there's 2 things you have to touch here. There's a catch up here. There's a little button right in this top corner, and this one here. So it's going to be a bit awkward to do. I wonder, could I use blue tack to shove this one down? Right, so I've got the battery in, I've got some blue tack hitting down a little switch in the corner there, and I'm going to press this and I'm going to turn it on, and let's see if anything happens with this motor. Where's that button gone? Here we go. Right, that's spinning, but this is not spinning because I presume it needs to spin to for the laser to find the disc. Right, okay, I think I'm fighting a losing battle with that. The spindle was spinning, but this isn't spinning. I basically wanted this to spin on its own without anything else. That's not going to happen. So I think what we'll have to do is, let's see how it's spinning when we just spin it with the tweezers. Right, looking at it here, it looks like this motor is actually attached to the ribbon cable which goes on to feed this spindle motor here. So I bet you find that if you were to buy, because it comes with the two motors together and also you've got to undo the screws and stuff around here, it's probably just as easy and just as cheap to buy the whole new unit itself here. So that is going to be an option. So what I'm going to do is, I think to begin with, I'm just going to give it a really good clean. So I'm going to put IPA in here, give it a good clean around just in case there has been some grit in there. Definitely seen grit up here. I'm going to use some Molykote grease in here, give all that a grease and give this a grease down here. But first of all, I am going to give it a nice good clean up, make sure that there's no hairs or anything like that. But to be fair, it does look very clean. It does look very clean already. But I think I'm going to, do you know, I'm going to strip it down completely. Here I'm just going to gently just clean the lens. Let's put that to one side. Right, so this is what I'm going to be using on it. Some synthetic grease. Annoyingly, do you remember that little circlip thing, the little collar that went on that one there that I used the blue tack? Well then when I was trying to get it to work, I just grabbed the blue tack and I shoved it in the back there. And now I can't find where that tiny little plastic collar is. I don't know if it's come off or I don't know if it's buried in here somewhere. Completely forgot about it because it was see-through. The odds of finding that again are very, very slim. Yes, I found it! Here it is. Oh, that was lucky. Very, very lucky. Alright, let's put this back on here now. Excellent. You know, that would have been hard to make because that really clips on very, very strongly. Perfect, it's just on there now. Right, I think it's just a time now to clean up things like the buttons and this, and I might as well clean these buttons up here. And then reassemble everything. To mention, when it comes to this thing here, I would have liked to have put a tiny drop of oil on the spindle, but I can't get to it because it's one of these ones where the whole top bit here is turning, yeah, and underneath that doesn't turn. You can see when I spin it here, there's nothing happening here. So unless this thing comes off, I don't really want to take it off in case it's going to cause problems underneath. I mean, maybe I could kind of peel that off there and maybe I would be able to put a drop that side, but I definitely can't put a drop that side. Yeah, I don't want to risk that because it might well be working now by just cleaning it. Maybe it was to do with the grit that was stored up here, you know, the sand. Let's try and remove this little blob. Happy with the way that screen connector went in at all. When I was lifting up the flap there, it's like it wasn't lifting up all the pins. In fact, I can see one of the pins are bent. Now, I've bent it back into place with my nail, but I'm not overly happy with that. I don't know if that's going to make a connection or not. Basically, the little lid there didn't seem to lift up properly. This part goes in the top, and it goes in like that. That way down, so the F1 goes into this part here, and it sort of just finds its home down there. Now you've got to make sure you put the buttons on here with the little rubber bit around the speaker before the screen goes back. Give it a final clean. And I'm slightly nervous about whether the screen's going to work or not, because that ribbon cable the connector did not go in nice. I had to basically try to force the ribbon cable in rather than lift the flap, put it in and close it. It wasn't, basically it was lifting, but it was bowed, so it wasn't good. Let's try it now, see if we have anything on the screen. Then give it a final clean. No, just as I thought. Ooh. Okay, I'll have to take it apart again and see, but that flap on that ribbon cable wasn't good. Do you know what the problem was? I probably lifted it with the too sharp a spike here. I should have used something wider to lift it up, or use my nails to lift it up. Right, I'm going to have a good look in here, see if I can fix it. Right, this time it did just open up correctly, so I shouldn't really cause me any problems. Opened nice that time. Let me just make sure the pins. Let me make sure the pins are all okay. Right, so one of the pins is pushed up. Let me show you that. You can see that one there. I think that's the one that's causing me the problems. This one just here. Let's see if I can get that down a little bit. I've never had a problem with the connectors on this screen before. It's not like the Nintendo Switch where it just breaks if you look at it wrong. This is normally really good. Right, let's see if that's going to allow me to push it in now. Yeah, that's much better. And as you can see, that line there has gone all the way to the line here. You see the line of the thickness has gone to that line there. Well, let's see if that's going to close down. Yes, it is. Excellent. Right, I'm a lot more hopeful now. That's going to work. Yes, brilliant. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I was really worried about that screen there. Fantastic. The bum is back. Right, let's put the cover back on and we'll put a game in it and let's see if it's doing anything. See if it's quieter than it was before. Well, let's see if it's still working. Right, okay, so you've seen I peeled the sticker off really carefully. I left that side intact, but you can still see it left bits behind. So what happens is it says void as you look through it. A viewer told me that if you colour it in with a Sharpie, that it hides the void. So obviously it's a bit deceitful, isn't it? Because then the next person won't know that somebody's been in it. I just want to see if it's going to work or not. It doesn't help that I haven't got a black Sharpie, so I'm sort of using a very dark navy one. Let's just see if that's going to hide it. Yeah, I suppose, yes, it doesn't say void anymore, but you can still tell that it's been tampered with because the sticker here is nice and smooth and then it goes crinkly. So anybody that knows anything would still know that that's been opened up. But yeah, I suppose it's nicer now because when you do change the battery, the void thing isn't glaring out at you, which doesn't, even if you're just using it for yourself, it doesn't look as nice when something has void all over it. That's a good little tip there, isn't it? Right, okay, let's see now how this is performing. Also, I need to look into the price of the batteries. In fact, I'll quickly do that now. Genuine batteries look to be £20, which is quite expensive, but there's loads of batteries, like extended ones. See, these are 1200. You can get ones that are 2400 and I think also 3600 as well. For the cheaper ones range from like £5.99 all the way up to sort of like £12.99, that sort of price. I don't know whether on the extended ones that you would need to change the battery cover at the back. I don't know whether it would be a more bulky one. Right, okay, that's that. Let's turn it on and then we'll get exactly the same game and let's see how noisy or quiet it is now. Oh no, listen, did you hear that? It was still squealing there. Oh no, listen, still squealing. Yeah, that's no better. That is still squealing just as much. That is very, very, very noisy. Ah, so it's the motor, isn't it? So after all that work, it's the motor. Oh, what a shame. Yeah, I can't live with that. That's way too noisy. Right. Well, we definitely know it is the sled because So it wasn't the grit, it must be the motor, mustn't it? I was sure that it was just going to work. What am I going to do here? Right, let me have a look, see how much the motor is. I'm tempted to try to peel off that bottom bit, see if we can get some oil down there. I mean, if anything, you think the motor for the spindle would be the one that was going to fail, not the motor for the sled moving forward and back. I hope I haven't diagnosed this wrong. I hope it is that. Right, let's take it apart yet again. I'm not going to remove that screen because I'm worried about that connector there. So let's just work on the back part with the screen connected. Right, I'm going to add a bit of solder to that bit again. I'm going to try and peel off this spindle thing in the middle here and see what happens. Right, so remember this is junk now because it's not working anyway. No, so it's not, I thought it might be like a film on it, but it's not, it's some big lump of plastic. So I don't think there's any way I can actually get into that. I'm just going to take it out completely because it looks like I've got to probably end up replacing this whole thing anyway. Would it be possible to unsolder this ribbon cable? Maybe I should give that a go. I mean, I'm pretty sure it has to be the motor because here, when I move this, I can't hear any grating noise or anything. Yeah, it's starting to lift. Yeah, there we go. Oh, hold on a minute, maybe not. Don't know if that's stuck down or whether it's... Yeah, excellent. Right, so if you could buy that, then that would be repairable. I'll have a look online, but I very much doubt it. I wonder, can I just get this to work just on the desk here? I'm a bit confused why there's 4 contacts going into it. It's a shame I can't just pick it off. So it looks like this is actually glued onto here because I can't turn that independently off that. I'd love it if we could just put some voltage into it just to see it move, to hear it. Do you know what I'll do? Let's set my bench power supply really low. Let's just go to 1 volts and see what happens. If I blow it, then it doesn't really matter, does it? I don't know which ones go where. Let's try these two. Well, there you go, it did flick a little bit, didn't it? Let's try these two. And that flicked. That flicked. That flipped, but they don't keep going. Right, let's go up to 1.5. No, let's go up to 2. No, I'm wearing it. I mean, I don't know anything about it. Could this even be, would it be possible that it could be like a little AC motor or something? Right, well that hasn't proved anything, but then again, you know, it's not a simple motor here, is it? It's, if you look, there's 4 things going in, so I don't know how it works. Well, I've got no way of getting to anything. I mean, should I try spraying in some WD-40, or is that going to ruin it completely? Problem is, it is ruined, isn't it? You can't live with that squealing noise, so it looks like a replacement is needed. I think I'm going to get some WD-40, spray it in. Let's see what happens. Right, this is just the standard stuff. Look online, and yeah, you buy the whole assembly with the lasers and these motors as well, but it's only $12.99, so that's not really too bad, is it? I think what I'm going to do is, I mean, it's not going to take you guys any time to watch it because I'll fast forward it through it all. I am going to put it back together again, and just now that I've put WD-40 in, just to see if it makes any difference at all, so I'm going to solder this back on. And then I might have a look, because I never got round to doing the screen replacement on a PSP that I got from Marcel last time. You know, the one where I changed around the resistor and stuff. I'm not sure if that was a 2000 or 3000. Looking online, it says that 2000 and 3000. When you buy from eBay, it's the same one. So maybe I might just use the one from that, because is it worth spending money when I've already got one with a broken screen? You know, I can just use that for spares. That might be a better option. So I'm going to put this back together. Oh, good cry. I forgot to put in the gear. Oh man, this is turning into a never-ending one. Right, so I've got it back on now. Let's see how noisy it's going to be. It sounds pretty good at the moment, but I did get my hopes up last time. I haven't got it properly back together either. Do you know what? I don't believe it. It's actually working. I wonder, was it the WD-40 or me bending it around the place? Could it be ever so slightly off? Because I was bending it around quite violently. Listen to that. That is completely normal. Let's put the volume down. So now we're going to hear it all. Listen. There, it went there, that's perfect. Remember, there's no volume on it, so it's going to, when there's volume on it, you're not going to notice any sound at all. It's really quiet. It's actually quieter than my working PlayStation 3000. Oh, I'm well happy with that. Listen, there you go. That is working as it should be, if not quieter than what I'm normally used to. Right, let's give it a final clean up and get all the screws in. Finished, and look how good it has come up. So it's not perfect, still a few scratches on the screen and especially around this ring at the back here, but it looks good, it's more than usable, and the good news is it is completely quiet. So if I put the volume down now, when I'm playing it, it's working fine. This is a game called Freed Running, and interestingly this particular one here is set in North London, which is near me, and look, there's a tramp and he's hammered, he's staggering around the place. Let's put the volume up so you can hear him. Listen to that. I've never heard of this game before. There he is, you could have a good conversation with him. I don't know how to play this game, obviously. Oops, that's not good. I thought you could run fast by doing something. Let's see if I can swing off something. Go on. That's getting better now, isn't it? I think you can do different tricks and stuff by hitting the R and L button and stuff like that, doing stuff together. Oh, that's another one! Hold on, it's another one! Oh, who's he? An old boy. Is he going to speak to me? Or is he just telling me off? Yeah, I think he's telling me off. Do you know what? This is probably going to be quite an interesting game. But look, no noise at all. Working absolutely perfectly. So now, will this continue to work? I really don't know. Remember, I put WD-40 into that motor. So maybe after a few hours use, I mean, it's only going to be, the quietest it's going to be is now because it's probably still got the oil in there. But as it gets used, then maybe that squeal will come back. If so, then I'll have to swap the whole inside. But at this moment in time, it does appear to be working very well. So I'm really happy with how that's come out. So I'm going to get myself an aftermarket battery, probably just get a cheap one for £6 or £7 and see how it goes. But yeah, I'm really pleased that I persevered with that little motor and I didn't just change it out completely. it's always much more satisfying when you actually pinpoint the problem and fix it, rather than just kind of replacing the whole back. Even though the end result's the same, and I would have only had to spend £13 on it, especially for the video as well, and also just purely for the enjoyment of doing it, it's much nicer when you actually get a faulty item and fix that item, or replace just that item rather than replacing the whole thing. So that is it for this video. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up. Big thanks to Marcel for sending this over from the Netherlands. And yeah, there's still more items in that job lot that hopefully I will do over the coming weeks. Thanks so much for watching. And as well as that, I forgot, my run is over of failing to fix items. It's broken. Now, hopefully from this day on, I'll have more success, because I've had a real run at the moment of failures. So yeah, I'm really happy that at long last, something is working, and appears to be working very, very well. Thanks so much for watching. Take care. Bye now.